Hello once again. Calling to let you know that I got a job for you. I have attached information on travel arrangements. Upon your arrival, you will be met by Catherine Hull. Make sure she shows you her ID to verify that it is her. This is a rather sensitive mission, and there may be someone seeking to disrupt our plan. There's a man named Devin Tash. His company, Megatash Construction, specializes in mega buildings, large structures that can house potential millions of people. It has recently gone public, and this has made Mr. Tash a great deal of money. This is not a problem, of course, but there are indications that some of his funds are being used to fund insurgent elements on another planet. However, we presently lack firm evidence connecting his involvement with the insurgents, and won't be able to get such information unless the federal authorities have probable cause to investigate his business. That's where you come in. Your job is it's to help provide the authorities with that evidence, to get that probable cause. Specifically, the federal level authorities, of course. The planetary authorities won't be able to help much, and have already been deferential to Tash in the past. As my office is not law enforcement, the activities we get up to, covert or obvious, don't trip the usual hurdles when it comes to these things. So you and your partner I'm sending along for this mission will be going into Tash's headquarters. There is a reception to announce his next mega project coming up, and you will use this as a means to gain entry to his personal office suite where the event is being held. You'll work together to find the information of criminal wrongdoing, specifically on crimes of a federal scope, collect that evidence, exit the premises, and deliver that evidence to Mrs. Hull, who will handle things from there. There is no guarantee that there is solid evidence to be found there, but it's our best chance for the foreseeable future to get somewhere so sensitive as his office suite. And it is also the most likely point to gain further access to the company's systems if there is more to be gained elsewhere. Also, try to avoid try to avoid making a scene. But it's also important that you also don't get caught, which is, I'd say, more important. There might be legal consequences for yourself and potentially my office if that were to happen. So use your heads and try not to get hurt, please. And hello there, this is Izixs. Welcome to Stellar Renaissance, the adventure in the universe of my own creation using the GURPS system. And I'm joined here by my two newest players. Who are you, my newest players?
You've cut it alphabetically.
Oh, okay.
I'm Peter Taylor. How are you all doing?
Well, I'm doing pretty well. How about you?
I'm good.
Excellent.
Never so.
Oh. Alright. I'm Van Velding, veteran role player. This is my first time playing GURPS.
Excellent. So
My first time playing anything.
So we got some newbies to GURPS. We got someone who's experienced with the role-playing games, and me who's forgotten most of what I remember about GURPS, but hopefully I remember enough for today's adventure. So, as the intro, a little audio clip there suggested, you guys have been brought on, hired by someone to basically go on a mission. This individual, this employer of yours, is named Reza Khan. Your specific background with him is perhaps something you would like to go into explain to the audience at some point. But suffice it to say, this is the situation you are in presently. In fact, we are going to be starting today's adventure in media res. So I mentioned in the intro there a party of some sort. Yes.
Indeed, that's been an event.
Yes. So guess what? You're already there.
Identities already.
So you are already at the party. The place is filled with various folks. A lot of them look fairly well dressed. This is not necessarily a fancy dress sort of event, but people who apparently have the monies and like to dress however they like are all kind of hanging out here. Some of them in formal wear, some of them in business suits, some of them in military outfits, and it's all kind of variable. There are a few that are a little more outlandish on top of that. So you guys should have control of your icons. So where in this main room would you like to start? I will point out that the fellow up here, up at the top here, that is, you know that to be the individual that you've been sort of tasked with getting some dirt on, Devin Tash.
Mr. Cash.
Yes, and he is presently talking about his next big mega project construction mega project.
So he's on the top center.
Project.
Yes. So that's why there's a bunch of people there sort of paying attention to what he's talking about.
Yeah. Okay.
For this. Do we have cover identities? Are we snuck in?
That is to be determined. How are you you are presenting yourselves. As I said, we are doing this in media res. We are assuming that everything to get you to this point has been done successfully. So, what is your cover identity if you have one, or are you coming as just yourself?
My character is Cash Sayo. He is a detective from my way to infiltrate that sort of character would be to security consultant, or they have called to test people's security, right?
Yeah, you can be called in to have to test the system. Yes, that's perfectly reasonable.
If I'm working with someone else, though, I'd want to know their wheelhouse.
That's you, Peter.
Their wheelhouse. The name's Mal, but the code name for the fake identity for this run will be just Cha. As he,
CHA?
yeah, just a nice short. And if you're going to go in as detective to check security systems, it makes sense to have somebody geeky and tech knowledge on your hand, just to make sure no one does anything stupid. Keep an eye on systems and whatnots. So think about the tech arm, the computer guy who's going to make sure that no one does anything silly during the event.
Okay. Actually, I'd counterpitch that. If you're a computer guy, some kind of Silicon Valley guy, and I could be a bodyguard. In spaces.
Yeah, you go with that. That would definitely blend in with this crowd.
Any kind of social awkwardness, I think, goes to our geek tropes. I think that's a good cover.
Excellent. Anything else to sort out all this here?
I guess your name's going to be Cha, Mr. Cha.
Yeah, Mr. Cha. Okay.
So, Mr. Cha and his bodyguard.
Indeed. All right, so we got to figure out where we need to go.
All right.
Is his office at the back, or is his office at the side somewhere?
Well, you don't quite know, because you guys have not been here before, and you did not get a full schematic of the building. Just that there, you know that there's this main room, and somewhere on this level, he has an office, perhaps more than one, as well as some living quarters. I will point out that this door on the left is to the bathroom. That's the only one that's marked. And and behind you is the two elevators, one on the left, one on the right. There you go. And the one in the door to the middle is to the stairwell.
What floor are we on right now? Ground or?
Let's say you're on the 200th floor.
Okay. Now, in most of these places, the office will be a higher place, because the CEOs do like to be at the vantage point. The problem is, you notice if we just went straight away.
I will also point out that this is the top floor. There is the next floor up is like a helipad sort of situation, but there's nothing higher than this. This is sort of Mr. Tash's inner sanctum, and everyone here, is sort of like like the who's who sort of folks here, including you guys under your secret identities.
In an office building?
Yes.
But it's the future, so is there a robot we can ask?
there is a robot to your left there. It is hanging next to a cart that was used to potentially provide some of the catering. So imagine that there's like a bunch of food on some of the tables around here.
Okay. Looks an awful lot of security drone to me.
So you don't see any security drones, but if you give me a perception roll of some sort, you might be able to figure out if there are other security people and maybe even how human they might be.
Excellent. So a perception roll would be, again, never played. So
roll your 3d6 and compare it to your perception skill.
What does perception default to?
It should be one of your base stats.
So roll 3d6 and then compare it to the...
One of those. Okay. All right.
So your perception should be on your character sheet under your
perception
stats.
of 12.
I got it. I just looked at the skill box instead of the...
All right. Looks like you both made it.
You need to get under, don't you, in this system?
Equal to or under, unless there's a modifier which would change that. So
yeah, I got.
Okay, equal under is good then.
yes. So you both can identify quite easily the security guards. This guy is a security guard. This guy is a security guard. This guy is a security guard. On the left here, and they all appear to be, for the most part, human. They might have some cybernetic implants of some sort, but otherwise they are otherwise very fleshy. And,
okay, so the guards are all to the top, which is useful for us right now.
Yes.
Mr. Trout, I'm gonna get some shrimp and talk to this robot. Did you want anything from the buffet?
Not at the moment, but we'll try something later.
All right.
So I'm gonna go over here and get some shrimp.
Excellent.
The robot. Where the emergency exits are.
So the
to the floor and be the stairs, won't it?
so you're asking the robot this, yes?
It looks. I mean, I'm sure the icons you have are for battle bots, but it could be like a concierge or an assistant, something like that.
Yeah. It's it does have 4 legs, but it is there to be a concierge, a waiter, a butler, sort of general purpose service bot. And if you do give it a poke, it will say that the primary emergency exit is the stairway here. That there is technically ladders down the side of the building. But those should not be used unless the main emergency exit is blocked.
I'll ask it again.
It will give you the exact same answer.
Okay. I heard that Mr.
Okay.
Cash just got in from off-world yesterday. Is that right?
That is correct, sir, says the robot.
I was wrong. I heard he had a new pet zebra.
That is incorrect, sir. There is no zebras present on this level.
So he knows about Mr. Cash's schedule. He's not very smart, but he will
What
give a
to do
lot
with
of
that, then?
information. What's that? Lie and say that you were here last week and forgot something in his office.
But they can check the logs for that.
Yeah, right. So I guess he can probably do that. So that's not going to work.
If you guys got just schedules, that could be a problem for us. For that kind of lie.
Something that's not scheduled. One for a second if you wanted to do stuff.
I just want to see what this thing in the very center of the room is. I haven't at the back to it, but it looks nice and impressive.
You mean this dealie?
Yes, ideally.
That's a water feature, a little fountain with a crystal thingamajig floating above it.
Okay, excellent. And obviously the table to the south is currently the buffet table.
There's the sort of a sit-down
Regular
eating
eating.
table, and then there's
Yeah.
buffet tables all around it. So
Yeah. And then obviously you've got this big thing at the top of the screen, which has my interest. But behind the speaker, which I'm
Yes.
guessing is a terminal.
yes, there's a
On the
desk and a terminal. This dealie here is actually a thing that's flat to the surface, but it can flip up to act as a monitor and / keyboard, sort of interacting surface.
Okay.
So,
Trying
robot.
to get my head around it.
Sorry. We're just gonna talking to the robot. So, all the executives that work on this floor, huh?
There is one executive that works on this floor.
That's a lot of office for one man, huh?
This is an office plus personal space.
So I bet he has a lot of friends that come up here, huh?
Checking. The answer is probably yes.
Since I guess he'd turn you off at certain times. Just keep things. I mean, you can't know everything, can you?
I do not know anything beyond what I am programmed to know.
I read about the floor plan of this building before coming here. It's security, I heard that originally, I assume we have basically 4 quadrants to choose from in terms of where his office is.
Generally, you do know, you're just wandering around a little bit, you do know that there's at least a door here and then one on the other side, but you don't know where the hallways that go off, beyond that may lead to. But there's also the obvious doors, that are visible in the main room here too.
Yeah, you can see up 6 doors right now with no one's the bathroom.
50-50 chance. So I'm going to point at... I haven't used the ping on this thing for a while.
So click and hold.
Just click and hold? No. I have an aura now. I'm projecting an aura.
I think I might have missed it.
That one? Does that show up? No, it doesn't show up.
Oh, I see some scrolling over there. Is this what you're scrolling?
Yeah, I'm trying to scroll in that general area.
Yes.
I'm going to point towards that door and just say, I heard originally his main office was supposed to be over there. Fun fact.
That is correct. It is still his original office.
All right. Well, that's weird. I was told that it was changed because I'm pretty sure I'm going to point in the exact opposite door, the one in the lower right there. It's down there now.
So this one?
Isn't there a lower one, or is that the elevator?
Or down here?
Lower one would be the exact opposite.
Here.
You had it right the second time.
Okay, so this one here. Okay, there you go. That is incorrect. That is his private bedroom.
So weird. I heard a story. It just came across the wire that there was a theft, and I was told
there has not been any theft on this level.
Has there been a theft on any level at all of this building?
Checking. Insufficient information.
Oh, he's checking.
Personal but only.
While he's checking, I assume he's kind of robot distracted.
A little bit.
I'm going to try to get Mr. Chaw's attention and point him towards the right door.
So this one.
That's his personal thing. We want his office, right?
Yeah, that's his personal bedroom. They want his original office, which suggests there's a new office somewhere. But
Lives up here.
That would just be robot talk for yes. Right.
My conversation with Mr. Cash and the robot is that we're just using like his office, professional term. And that it was this one right here. Is that right?
Yeah. Robot confirmed that was his original office and it's still there.
So that's our target, and I'm going to let your character know that subtly as possible.
All right.
Robots chewing on a theft question.
So are you going to be, speaking this?
If I can get his attention from across the room,
I'm next to you anyway.
hand motion. Oh, okay. There's no reason to communicate.
Yeah, I was hanging around the area just listening.
It's like, come here.
I thought something at the stairs would be a bit obvious that somebody's awkward.
By the way,
I'm
going to make a roll. Okay.
Go ahead and talk, robot. Thanks for the trivia.
No problem. I'm here to serve.
Kind of go over here.
All right. Feel free to move.
There you go.
Kind of earshot.
Yeah, there's no one near us right now, so we should be all right.
So,
the target's at the top left.
Our next move, I think, would be for you to get drunk and for us to sneak in there after we find a way to get past the logs.
Drunk.
It'd make a good excuse for you to be looking for... Be going for the wrong door.
Yes. Okay, so where would there be alcohol other than that robot?
So I will say that you probably can see plenty of alcohol on this table.
Excellent.
So
we move over that way.
Another
move
plan
there
would
first of all. Just going to separate it around a little bit. Pick some a nice strong-looking alcohol up. Just having to hold it, make sure people see you holding it, so that when you act drunk, it looks realistic.
Excellent. So you are
trying to find a way to get past the lock on that door.
Well, the first thing is it locked? I mean, if it's a personal office space, it may not have it locked. The problem is getting to that door will draw attention with the guards around.
We need more assets. Let's mingle. I'm going to learn about the interesting characters of this party and what they can tell us about. Here. I don't know, high-strung or drunk, or someone who looks like they have the potential to create a lot of fuss?
Well, there are a couple targets that seem sort of that sort. There's this guy who seems, very, flamboyant, and he's the guy who's clapping the most whenever our corporate Mr. Tash here says anything inspiring. So there's that guy. There's also the lady up front who has the microphone and the small camera bot floating above her head. She might be some sort of media personality. And of course there is the the conversation happening at the table, which you could potentially they're debating something about local politics, which could always turn into something that's a little bit more intense if with the right words. So it's
is anybody looking really nervous, like they're a tech person who doesn't like being in the camera, don't like being around people, or nervous in large groups, other than me, of course.
Give me a perception roll.
That was a 3d6 again. And that's versus a 12 on my perception.
Yes, you do not see anyone who meets with your criteria. If anything, that's just you.
I look around the room and see myself.
Yes. Oh, and by the way, how are you guys dressed?
In the suit.
Excellent.
standard, no attention drawing for this particular type of event.
All right. Cool. Or sort of wanted to get a general vibe of how you're set up there.
I figured carrying armor tech gear on the outside would have been a bad idea. So a suit with enough room to do stuff with, not restrictive.
Cool. So you are looking the part. All right. All right. So that's sort of the options you can see that are most obvious. You could always have one of you barge up to the front of the presentation and just start trying to debate Mr. Tash.
It's not to be seen.
Yeah, I want to listen for a second. What is his new big project he's talking about?
He's talking about what sounds to be a mega building on a planet called Latio, and he's going into extreme detail about how it will be not just a place to live and work, but a part of the terraforming project he's trying to get off the ground on the planet.
Good.
Okay. Do we know anything basic about the planet? It's terraforming. So what's the conditions there normally?
Well, give me a knowledge roll. Some sort of if you got something knowledge-wise that can fit with that, roll for that. Otherwise, IQ at -2. Actually, we'll say IQ just base. Yeah, but if you have a specific skill that applies, I'll give you a bonus.
Is there any way for me
And dice will be what, 3d6 again, or different
Yes, 3d6. What was that, man?
die? With no modifiers.
Oh, wait.
So 3d6, no modifiers.
All right. So I'm pretty sure that's under your intelligence.
IQ is... Yeah, I'm at 12 on the IQ.
All right. So you know this planet very well. In fact, it's one of the most populous planets in the Lantan Confederation. It is well known for being a, quote, carbon-heavy planet. So in future construction in this era, a lot of mega structures and spaceships and things like that are built using advanced forms of carbon nanotubes. And in order to build this, they need easy access to certain chemical configurations of carbon. Sort of, you need lots of diamonds in effect. And this planet is very, very heavy in it, in that sort of mineralization of carbon.
So it makes sense to build this building because it's going to be locally sourced carbon.
Yes, but you also
any transportation costs.
But you also know that this is a planet that has a fairly particular situation. That it is the way the Lantan government works is that the federal government is a democracy with representation and all that, but the planets can have kind of any sort of government they like, to a degree. And the local government on Latio is a sort of a feudalistic society, where the nobles all live in one city, while everyone else lives underground in the mines. And they're rather extensive at this point.
Classic Star Trek. So the federal authorities in this case are the Lantan, is that right?
The federal authorities are the Lantan, yes.
Okay, so there are insurrectionists here that they need proof that he's funding or some other crime.
Yes.
I assume that if there's a big disparity between the workers and the government, there'll be a lot of political turmoil in the area.
That is a logical conclusion. However, you don't generally hear about any of that.
Which would make sense because there's a press anyway. But we have two people arguing about politics at the front. Well, talking about politics at the front, and we could potentially use that as a leverage point to create distraction.
So I say you go ahead and scope that out. I'm going to talk to our big friend over here. Our main plan is that I assume that this lady here can't hear us, that we're not going to just say this while she's standing there.
She is very engrossed in her book, but she may or may not be paying attention. So
somewhere else to talk about this. I'm not going to get this whole plan blown because I assumed books were too good.
Yes, if I head up to the front, I'm going to have a chat with these people at the front about the politics of the planet and the people and the government types, just to try and stir up a little bit of interest up there. Potentially use that as a way to get a nice argument going, which will cause a distraction for us, hopefully.
Our plan
Or
is
start the argument, yeah, obviously. But that's the initial starting point.
Yeah, so the distraction, and then you get to that door, since I'm confident that you can locks her in it.
My stuff's mostly electronic, so hopefully it's electronic lock.
My superpower is a gun.
So given this is a high-tech megacorp building a new building, so it's on the 200th floor, I'm going to assume it's an electric lock for now, until I get to it and then I realize I need someone to shoot it.
That would be plan B. So let's talk to these guys.
Yeah, so let's move up.
Mr. Happy Claps over here.
This area here.
His deal. Why is he so freaking happy?
Well,
where does he get off?
As you approach him, you notice that he's just very exuberant for some reason. It's not entirely clear if it's a personality thing or if he's just really, really happy to be hearing about all this. So you gonna ask him?
I'm gonna work up to it. I'm just gonna clap with him like really big, sidle up alongside him. This is so great.
Oh, I know, right?
How do you feel?
Oh, I've been hearing rumors about this project. He's sort of whispering as Mr. Tash is continuing his long spiel, going into the details of the building. But this fellow continues on with. But I never thought I'd see the day that he would actually be presenting it to his loyal investors and everyone here, and as well as the dignitaries. It just fills me with such excitement.
Waiting for this terraforming project for a while?
Well, you could say that. My great grandfather mentioned that it's not only possible, but it'll be an important thing to make sure that we actually attempt. It's going to take hundreds of, perhaps even thousands of years for it to complete. Especially if they, unless they build, a good number of these sort of structures all over the planet. It's an undertaking of the most highest order that, it's well overdue.
Do I have to make some kind of a will save to continue appearing interested in the things that he's saying?
Go for it. Because if you let this guy, he will talk your ear off about some of the.
He's a fanboy.
Yeah, he's definitely a fanboy.
Of Mr. Is it Cash or is it Tash?
Tash with a T.
Comforting. All right then. All right, yeah. So you performing, or my will's like 11. My will's 12. That roll was 11. So,
yes.
It's a miracle, but I got it. Tash for a while.
Oh, I've known him since since he he came to this planet. It's actually I think the first time I met him was actually before that. But it was we were both traveling, but it was. Where was I? Oh yes, I've been we've been talking about this project for a number of years, and I'm so happy. His company just went public. He's made tons of money that he can now spend some of this money to proceed with this project. It's just so wonderful.
I've talked to some other folks at this party. I'm going to glance at that back table with no one in particular. Because, not everybody here seems to be, such a fan of Mr. Tash.
Oh.
Good to see someone who's really positive about him and the work he's doing and all the other stuff.
Oh, those naysayers, those nilly-nillies. Not everyone can see the dream, can see the vision that Mr. Tash has.
Clearly, I agree. I'm a cut to Peter. I'm good for now.
By the way, I'm going to give this guy a will save. And all right, he's definitely looking over his shoulder at that table now.
Fantastic.
So, Peter, what you up
So
to?
you've got him interested. Right, these two are listening to talking about the politics. Are they talking about politics on the actual planet or the politics here?
Sorry if I misconstrued. The people at the table down here are the ones talking about the politics.
Effectively, the ones at the top were talking about politics behind the
this
reporter
lady is a reporter.
Ah, okay.
So,
That was what I want to do.
So if you wanted to reposition yourself, that is perfectly acceptable.
Indeed. Pop down here. Boop. I was going to utilize the camera and the microphone as a distraction technique. Right, so what are they talking about? Are they talking about local politics on this planet or on actually at the building site location?
They are, for the most part, talking about local politics, but they're also occasionally comparing it to the situation on Latio. A lot of it seems fairly arcane. Some of it is also critical of the federal government because it's like, it's kind of ridiculous that they allow planets of such different structure to both exist in here. But one of them will always bring up, it's like, well, but if we don't have Latio as part of the Confederation, that's a massive source of carbon that we just aren't able to get anywhere else. So we kind of have to put up with them. And then they kind of go back to local stuff again.
Okay. Okay, I want to ask, interject a little bit to him to say about the government type of there. That heard rumours that the changes happening in the government. The workers are disgruntled enough to do something about it, and it risks projects. What if they heard about the same thing?
One of them kind of looks at you suspiciously and nods. I'll say it's this guy here. He's like,
Okay.
yeah, I've heard rumors like that too. That some of the mining output's been down, as much as 20% the last couple of years. But they also argue that, at least as far as the people I talk to, that it's all just normal. Got to rearrange things. Got to change logistic lines. When you mine out a certain area, well, look, you gotta you gotta go somewhere for better carbon structures. It's all very arcane, of course, but I do hear about the rumors, and I'm thinking, given how consistent they've been in last few years, especially since last time there was a bit of a tussle. I was hearing the same stuff. That was maybe 15, 20, 120 years ago, I think. This guy, by the way, looks like he's 40. So he seems to be kind of agreeing with you that there seems to be.
He's agreeing.
Yeah.
He's agreeing that there's some turmoil going on, but it's being passed off as minor.
Yeah. So what do you think? What have you heard? He addresses you specifically.
Well, I've heard from a few people that have been there recently that it's not actually just resource moving. It's some of the workers are actually starting to refuse to work, but it's being suppressed quite heavily. But that's just a rumor that I heard from somebody that's been there recently.
Well, if someone who's been there recently, consider yourself lucky. I'm guessing it's someone that maybe Mr. Tash knows about then, because I don't know if you know this, but he's technically of the noble class from Latio. That's why he's so passionate about this kind of project. He's the reason he's even here is because he's kind of got kicked out. They didn't much think they needed someone like him as far as the ruling bodies and bureaucracies that they run in their Diamond Citadel. And by the way, this guy over here will pipe up. It's like, you're so dismissive. You should be more respectful of these planets, man. Come on. Yeah, he's the one that's been sort of saying we need this planet for the resources.
Okay, yeah. I'll just say Mr. Nash's passion for this planet and his ties to it are kind of what brought me here in the first place. The others, they just don't really have the same drive.
I hear ya.
Okay.
So, you gonna try to incite more argument?
Not here at the moment. I'm using the information at the moment to try something.
All right.
I'm working on a plan, which I don't know if I can do yet.
All right. Van, it's your turn. What you up to?
If I'm good, or I would say would be to get all these guys at this table to like agree with each other and laugh. Senior fanboy here. Until eventually he's boiling over, and then sick him on there.
I like this idea.
Okay, I have an idea of this one. Do you want to meet up? Well, get your attention. We'll meet up back at the elevator.
I was like, all right.
Because there could be some useful information here. Because you don't know the conversation I just had, so.
I do not. No.
Right. So this table's. They're talking about politics, they're arguing, but there's a little concern about the some supplies shortages, some drop in performance, but also the politics there are some people think it's all good, we need to keep them. Some people are thinking that that something's happening. They're hearing rumors. If you've got a fanboy guy over there, we could set him into thinking they're a descendant. That they're actually, trying to spread rumors themselves and get him all riled up. Because we have a table full of people that are worried, and we have somebody who's ultra fanboy.
To make him appear to be something that they're afraid of.
Yeah, because from their point of view, they have concerns. They're only minor right now, but we could build those up. And if you got somebody with concerns and an ultra fanboy, and let them know that the project might be at risk because there's 4 backers there that could potentially pull out because of their concerns.
Actual literal backers of the project.
Well, when we came into the room, there seems to be an investor meeting. We just know at least one of them's an investor, and we can just check that out. If they are investors, then we can use the risk of funding disappearing as a way to get the fanboy to create a scene for us.
Yeah. If we could just put a... No. I'm adding on too much. This is a nice, simple meat and potatoes plan. Sure. If you can make the mood over
these
there...
are investors. Yeah, just need to confirm these are investors and then get them worried about the potential situation over there.
Right. It'd be ideal if they could reciprocate. What are they afraid of?
The
insurrection.
So specifically, there at least one of them is very afraid of a drop in carbon structure, chemical structure. That is just sort of used as a shorthand term. Production. Yeah, they're worried about that being dropping down.
Which obviously increase costs of building. There's less production, there's less resources.
And
who are the people who are causing that production drop?
Well, the guy in the bottom right, he seems to believe it's just the story is that the mines are moving and logistics around, which has dropped production. But seeding the idea with them that it might be a political side of things.
Logistical
sort
issue?
of a union-ish.
Logistical issues aren't bad. There's no one to get angry at over a logistical issue.
which is
There
the
has to
problem
be
we
a
need to
person
get.
they think is behind it.
Yeah, which is why if we get down to the workers refusing to work, we can get them to say that we can try and get them to work on the idea that the workers are refusing because of someone in the current government. And then we got a focal point for them. Because most
Okay.
governments are shifty, so it's quite easy to get people to believe so.
Eyes. Maybe he works. Maybe Fanboy works for the government. Maybe he thinks he does. Could imply that Fanboy works for the government, and therefore they think he's part of the problem. They'll go at each other and they'll reciprocate once we get them together.
I think the term for this is called controlled opposition.
Okay, I'm not actually familiar with that, though.
It's basically when you play both sides against each other to cause an effect.
So, okay. So your plan is to get them afraid of things, implicate Fanboy over
Indicate
there.
a higher up in the government that has a representative here today.
That's a good one. Fanboy, I'll get him to think that they're plotting against him and planning to pull out of the project because they're jerks. We set him on them.
That'd
Subtly
be perfect
move.
because then the attention is away from the doors. If we get the attention, the actual target to be at the table.
And if anyone asks, you're totally drunk. Okay. So break.
Yep, break.
Break.
I'm gonna just so we don't beeline everywhere around this party. I'm gonna see what's up with this lady. How you doing?
She goes, I'm fine. Sorry, I'm reading.
Yeah, I'm just gonna grab some food off this buffet table. Goes with the settle the stomach after the alcohol, you know.
In fact, she's reading an actual book. Like, this is kind of rare. This is like a luxury item in the future.
What, paper book?
Yeah, paper and everything.
One.
Real paper.
All right. Want shrimp then?
Pardon?
He does not want shrimp then.
There is shrimp.
She doesn't want any then.
No, thank you. I don't want to get the pages messy.
Yeah, food in a book that rare.
Expect anything? Can I quietly scope him out?
Give me a perception roll, and I'm going to give a roll as well.
There we go. 10 out of 13.
All right, you notice him noticing you. Check him out. You do believe he is packing some sort of weapon in his jacket, but he doesn't seem too concerned with you at the moment.
A nod of mutual security guy appreciation.
He nods back.
All right, then. Continue talking to Fanboy here. Anything?
Pardon?
Did I miss anything?
No, don't think so. So, you're talking to Fanboy.
So, yeah. So, leave those guys, huh? I'm gonna point to the table. They're all over everything because they're afraid. Or something.
What do you mean? A couple of them, I think, are one of the company's biggest investors.
I know how investors are. They get skittish. They want their money back. They're just not reliable. They want to do the same thing it's always been done. They want to make safe bets with 1% annual returns guarantee. They're not ideas like Mr. Tash.
Those nervous Nellies, they should understand that Mr. Tash's project here is one that he's using his own profits to get the initial funding for. This money is going back to the company, but maybe they don't understand that. How foolish of them. And I'm going to give him a, quote, reaction roll to figure out how invested in this line of yours he's getting. The 13... as a base, I'll give you, say, a plus 2 for, building this up so far, which counts as good. And this means generally PC likes is liking what you're saying, even if that means he's not liking the other guys. So he's definitely leaning in towards your position that these guys are probably up to no good. It's quite obvious.
What someone should set them straight on it,
Oh, well,
you
certainly.
expect someone inside of their company or something.
Oh, you think I should be such a person? Oh, I don't know. I'm not sure if I'm quite cut out for that sort of thing. I'm only executive vice president. They're on. For all I know, they could get me fired tomorrow if I say the wrong thing.
This is a polite occasion. The safe thing to do for adults like us is to just keep our heads down and not make any waves.
Oh, but
I'm sure someone will eventually come by and set these guys straight.
But Mr. Tash is fairly busy. He might not have the time to do that himself. Maybe I should go say something. Do you really think so, sir? I didn't catch your name.
Oh no. I am Ash. Again, it's not, we're just types that never change nothing. It's not really our place to intervene in these kinds of things, even if, one or two of them did say that they were going to pull out Monday when the markets opened. It's just not our place, I'm sure cooler heads will eventually prevail if we do nothing.
Oh, how preposterous. Oh, how preposterous. And he's going to start wandering off that way.
Right. While that conversation's going on, I'm messing with these guys. Just explaining to them. I've just looked at the some of the latest stats you pulled me. The tablet out. The production looks like it's actually down 50%, not 30%. And they're trying to make up the shortfall using stockpiled material to try and cover up the downfall. It looks like someone higher up in the government is trying to change things, maybe trying to take control. I don't know, but there's somebody definitely in the higher positions that are messing with this and trying to cover some of this information up.
All right, I'm going to do a reaction roll to see if they react well or well to what you want them to react for in this here, and getting a +2 also gets you good reaction. So you are going to be in a situation where they are generally believing what you're saying at this point. And I could go through all persuade rolls and all that, but we're just playing it nice and easy today. So they are going to be like, that sounds. Maybe you're right. Sort of reactions that you're sort of getting from the four of them. The guy who's talking a lot earlier says, maybe we should be looking into this, finding somebody who has some connections there, perhaps. See if we can get some more on-the-ground information.
Yeah, I tried to speak to Miss Nash before this event, but it just blew me off and refused to even engage. So something's got him spooked with that level as well.
The lady says, well, that's a bit unlike him, but I guess he has been busy for this presentation. Is he still going on there? His speaking style is so dull.
Okay. I'm going to take a step away from this table before the guy turns up and sees me in with them. So I'm just going to head towards the fountain.
All right.
I'm a mosey over here just behind this reporter lady and her camera bot.
All right. So,
I just want to be close enough to hear this kick off if it's starting, so I know if we've actually been successful or not.
So Fanboy hesitates for a little bit, but he does, interject when there's a pause in the conversation. It's like, and he sort of says, I'm hearing, effectively bad things, about, about your interest in the project here. Is there a problem? And then they're like, well, maybe, but it might be too expensive now because there might be massive production shortfalls. Yes, it's stuff that will be coming from the same plant to build the structure, but they might need that for, say, other projects, more lucrative projects elsewhere. And they start having an argument. It starts getting fairly loud pretty quickly.
Excellent.
As soon as it gets loud enough for that reporter to hear it, are those people fighting? And then once she turns around with her camera bot, I'm gonna slip behind them and assuming she goes for it.
All right, it is going to...
Yeah, if her interest peaks, I'll just say something about pulling out.
So I will say the reporter's interest does not go that direction. However, let me check his stats. Mr. Tash, Devin Tash here, he notices actually, and he seems to be kind of winding down to the end of his presentation, and he sort of hears some of the loud voices from across the room and says, "Could you hold on for a moment, everyone? I'm hearing some dissent in the ranks, as it were, and please follow me. I think I have some things to clear up." So he's going to go this way, and I'm going. All these folks start turning around to look at the table. The reporter follows on.
Now, more importantly, the guard at the top and the guard on the right, which can both see us move, are their attention drawn as well?
They are most interested in following where Tash is, given he's moving.
Excellent. Yeah, he's moved out of the control situation, so they were worried. Good.
As he's got attention of everyone and he's moving, I'm gonna
sneak to the door.
Start going towards him. I will grab him by the arm and drag him over here if necessary.
So you're pulling Peter?
If he's not coming.
I was so hoping you were saying me, not Nash, because where are you going with that?
All right, so now that you're a little closer over here, you can see that there is a bit of a room over here. There's you can see big floor-length windows all along this curve here, and it is seems to be some sort of sitting lounge, and there's a similar sort of view on the other side from what you can see.
Okay, and the door, is it an electronic lock or manual lock, or is it not even locked?
It has a lock. It's actually a manual lock.
Damn it. Alright, what do we have?
What do we got here, Peter? What's the status?
We have a ye old-fashioned manual lock here.
That should be something I can work with.
Hopefully. I'll drop back out of the way.
Yeah, if you could check out that waiting room over there, see if there's another way in. I actually don't have a lockpicking skill. What's that default to?
Didn't you have a variable lockpick?
If that's an auto win or like a +3 bonus.
A memory metal lockpick with a small imaging radar and ultrasound imager and its own contact mic. It reconfigures its shapes into one of several hundred alternative forms after performing a sensor analysis of the lock. It includes a fiber optic scope, gives +4 to lockpicking skill to open mechanical locks. It fits in the wallet.
So I get a +4 bonus, is that it?
Yes. Did you have a lockpicking skills at all? Does not appear on the copy of your character I have. So I will see what that defaults to. Literature, lockpicking. All right, so it's the default for lockpicking is IQ -5. So total of -1 to your IQ roll. Give me a roll. Oh, it's locked. It's very locked. Because I believe you failed that by 6. So could be worse, but it's doesn't seem to be opening on the first pass.
Peter, what's in that room?
This is what you see in that room. So there is windows all along here. You can also see that there's another sort of part of the building bulging out this general direction that also has windows, but you cannot see into them.
Okay, I can move that towards the bathroom. All right. Well, it didn't show up because it was behind the fog of war.
I'm assuming a plasma torch makes noise.
I'd say so. You can give it another try, but I will start rolling for people to notice that you're trying to break into this office.
Yeah, people tend to make it pay attention after a while.
However, if Peter stands, say, right there, he could potentially try to hide you. And
that was my plan.
Your activity.
be a visual block.
Yes.
I'll give it another shot. Last for too long. This doesn't work. Do you see a fire alarm anywhere? It's pedestrian, but it'll work. There
is at present no visual fire alarms, but there are sensors on the ceiling that you could see. All right. So the good news is you actually unlock it. The bad news is I get a roll perception. And they're distracted, but they also failed anyway. So that you do not get obviously noticed in your lock picking, and the door is now unlocked. Would you like to go in?
Right in and drag my partner here behind me.
All right. So this is the interior of this room.
If there's turrets in there, we get shot. I'm blaming you.
Well, I mean that's fair. But if we don't get caught, you can credit me.
That's not how blame works.
So, immediately to the right of the door is a piece of sculpture. There is a chessboard over yonder that presently has a game going on. There's a filing cabinet, a cabinet with drawers and things like that up top, and there's a desk with a computer on top of it.
Right. So, our original mission was to gather intel, collect some evidence in this room of wrongdoing, but also, if possible, to get into the systems and get more information.
Indeed.
So, if you want to check the filing cabinet, yeah.
Computers,
I can start with this.
All right. So you.
I can start.
So you're attempting a search.
So I assume fingerprints are a thing. So I don't think I specifically have gloves called out, but
well, we are in sort of floating mode as far as equipment goes because it's not sort of the main campaign bits. So you can say you have gloves, at least for this mission, if you so.
For curiosity for later as well, the Zap gloves I have, do they block fingerprints?
Oh, certainly.
And they don't just fire off everything you touch?
Nope. That would be hilarious. Like,
that would be awkward.
I'm going to pick up this computer.
Right.
Is there anything on this desk other than the terminal? Because I can see what looks like paper that could just be random junk.
There are some papers on the top of the desk. But if you guys want to search through the physical stuff, give me search rolls.
Okay, and a search roll would be?
Yes, and if you can beat this with a +1 to your skill, you'll be successful. Search, I know one of you has it. Search the skill. What does that default to? Symbol drawings, that's not it. Speed
Perception
reading.
+10, I think. No, can't be right. Because I have it. Never mind. My bad.
Yes, it defaults to perception -5 or criminology -5. So, but I believe Mr. Sayo has it. So, and you are going to be.
And it defaults to if you don't have it. Perception -5, but what's the roll? Are they all 3d6s?
3d6s, and the base skill of search, which I believe is successful on the one case, but it is the skill for the default is perception -5.
Okay, so I'm going to search these papers before I get into that terminal to make sure there's nothing on this desk that's useful.
All right.
Okay, and the -5. So I got a 7 or okay. Position -5 is 7. Is that above or below on this one?
All right. So yes, Vin, you definitely you find something interesting, but Peter, you do not. The interesting thing appears to be a handwritten note by some someone with a very nondescript sort of handwriting that's seems to have been. It's in an old-fashioned letter, so you don't see these very often, but they're still postal service on this planet. But it is a letter detailing some outrage about being extorted like this, and I'll only continue to pay as long as it's you can get away with this outrageous behavior, and signed some guy named Elta.
Is Elta the one being extorted, or is Elta the one extorting?
It sounds like Elta is the one being extorted.
Interesting. All right, I'm going to let Peter know. Search files, see if you can find something about anyone named Elta.
At the very least, we can use the info to incite the crowd if we need to get a scene to escape with.
All right. So
right. I'm going to move to this terminal and begin looking for system stuff, since my search is so useless.
All right. So give me a. We'll start with computer operations. We'll give you a +2 because you know what to be looking for.
Okay, +2.
They got free Wi-Fi at this party. I'm just going to Google Elta and see what I can find out.
All right. There are lots of random web pages and things like that with the name appearing on it. You might need more information to pin it down. And Peter,
he has a history. Oh, sorry.
Peter,
I'm comparing this against. What am I comparing this against?
So I would say that I was meant the +2 to your skill as opposed to your roll. So you actually rolled a 4. Let me check something. So that I'm going to say is a critical success because you technically beat the skill check by 10.
Nice.
What is the skill check? I'm making notes so I can dive fast in the future all the time.
Right. So this is sort of the point where you guys both sort of maybe stumble across this information. Peter, your guy starts. It's like, hey, I found some stuff. You start listing some things off, and Vin, as you're doing your Google searching, space Google, you're able to track down more information. But the short and long is that there is. This computer has some interesting pieces of information of a compromising nature about some various individuals that some of it is very sort of light on the details, or it's like, oh yeah, it's just really embarrassing. A few things like, yeah, this is obviously criminal behavior. You're paying off pirates, or you're hiring hits on people, that sort of like very illegal sort of stuff. And it's and some of and Elta does come up in the name in some of these files in a number of places, and linking to some of the very illegal stuff. And Vin, you're able to track down from some of the details that Vin is a high-end executive in another company, not in the same field. It's like a local food production concern that this appears that Mr. Tash has gotten the goods on and is maybe trying to use that information to perhaps provide funds for his business, as well as to get this guy to buy stocks at kind of overinflated prices.
If we got crimes, though, who cares about Elta?
Yep.
Actually, I think it's Elta's involved in one of the crimes.
Yes, Elta's involved in the crime. This is crimes of other people.
Mm-hmm.
So this is a treasure trove of information.
Oh, okay. Can we transmit that outside of the building?
Oh, sure.
Yeah, I'll send it off to a secure offsite storage if we can. If not, I'll download it locally.
We met with frickin' Catherine Holt, did we?
Catherine Hull you met with
That's where we
before the
deliver our
mission.
goods to.
So that's how you get all your passes into this party and things.
Yeah, we have to go back to her with the info we find here.
Yes. So you'll meet her again afterwards.
All we gotta do is get out of this room.
Yep.
What's that? Did anyone check that cabinet at the top? Or the table? Get that here.
Well, yeah, if you want to give me a search?
This one here. Is this a searchable thing?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, technically anything
Okay.
searchable. The question is there anything worth there to search?
Well, if it's a table with no drawers, it's not really searchable that much compared to, let's say, a cabinet of some kind.
Well, you never know.
So I'm asking.
If it's a table, it could be a gun, taped to the bottom of it. It's not a table, though. Go and give me your search roll.
What's that? Sorry.
Go ahead and give me a search
we're
roll
good?
if you're having a look.
We found illegal stuff. Mission accomplished.
Okay.
It definitely seems like it. You're, some sort of extortion / blackmail's going on. Which is
Just for fun, while I'm here, I want to purge all of the incriminating information he has on other people.
excellent.
Because, messing with people. Always fun.
Normally I'd ask you to do another computer operations to make sure you're deleting it properly, but you get your credit, so I'm going to say you go and do that perfectly fine.
Excellent.
In fact, you delete so much, maybe his entire hard drive's gone.
Just place the shot gloves on the side of the computer,
I'm gonna hide that note wherever a normal search wouldn't turn it up.
All right, I believe there's a particular skill for this. Let me double check here.
Yeah.
And housekeeping, what?
It's a default too.
If you're doing housekeeping, do you need to get a maid's outfit for yourself to do that role?
We may have to go there to explain why we're.
One thing
As
at a time.
distraction, anyway.
So trying to hide the note on your person. I'll let you go for a search roll because this is like trying to know where to hide that thing.
I'm perfectly happy with that because another barely successful search roll.
All right, in your sock seems reasonable. Yeah, particularly like down in your shoes sort of situation, not like just in the edge.
Okay. I'm just going to move to the door and just take a peek, make sure no one's going to notice us coming out of the office.
All right. So you peek out, and because it's only a peek, they did not notice you. It seems that the argument over there is quieting down at this point, so you might not have much time left.
Okay, let's get out of this room. Just stand here.
You are standing there the whole time.
We just walked from the observation room and going, whoa, it's an argument.
What was that?
Just pretend, if anybody sort of sees us, they would think we've been in the observation room to the side anyway, so that's not a major issue.
Unless they can see the door. We probably should have gone to the observation room for like 10 minutes.
Well,
and then
that's
gone
why I
back.
peeked out first, make sure no one was paying attention that way.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's good.
If people was like stood around the door looking at us, it's like, let's not step out of here yet.
So, if we're good on our mission,
Now go
I'm
try and
gonna
get
go
to the
ahead and-
exit.
Peter,
Yeah,
until
so-
it's time to leave.
To make that
Let's just drop
beeline,
down
eh?
to the fountain area.
So, guys are. No one seems to be
Bad roll.
paying you much attention at this point.
Just chill.
Okay, I just want to go to the little robot guy over here, just so I'm not beelining for an exit, because I'll probably look a bit suspicious.
By the way, do you still have your drink in hand?
Yes.
All right. Just want to make sure you didn't leave it in the other room.
And
I also
voice
ate the food I
notes.
had earlier as well. I just want to ask the robot here if this sort of thing, the arguments happen regularly.
The robot looks over at the table, then looks back to you. That is a difficult question to answer. I may have to ponder this for a little while, but I do not believe the answer is yes.
Excellent.
times.
Okay.
By the way, Peter, give me a perception roll.
All right, and is he doing all right?
I'm going to say you did not notice the thing I was thinking about you maybe noticing. So.
Oh, my perception's 12, so...
Yes. It was sort of one of those -5 sort of situations, your skill. So.
Okay.
So, sort of a long shot. Just figured it's like, I should probably have this be a roll. But anywho, how you doing over there with the table?
I'm asking the fanboy if he's okay.
He seems a bit flustered, but we're gonna say that Mr. Tash has come over here, and some of the other bits of the crowd have moved closer as well because this is where the action's at now. The fanboy looks flustered, but everyone seems to be calming down by quite a bit. And he's he looks the fanboy looks over. He's like, I think everything was just a big misunderstanding. I think everything's gonna be fine. At least I hope so.
Terrible. I will provide. Check my notes here. Emotional support.
Excellent. So, let's
Do is finish out the party without getting caught and go home, right?
That's the plan now.
Give me a leadership roll to see how well you can sort of motivate this guy to be supported.
I fail that, and that's believable.
He seems to be a bit more suspicious of you now because weren't you the one who goaded him into going over here?
Standing, I told him not to. I specifically said not to. That we're people who can't change things.
Well, he seems to have this look about him, but he's not actually saying this. So it's like,
Oh. That's a fair look.
Was I manipulated there?
Security guard.
And I'm going to do one more big roll here. Let's check the skill. And while you are sort of after this look, Devin Tash looks over to you, Vin, and says, "I don't think we've been introduced." He offers his hand.
Okay. Oh, hey, I am the personal bodyguard for Mr. Chaw.
Oh,
Peter.
Do you have a name?
I'm Mr. Cash.
Mr. Cash. Oh, I'm Mr. Tash.
Oh God, this is so funny.
Yeah. Coincidences
it's a real honor, actually. With all due respect, my role is really a small one. If you'd like to speak to Mr. Chaw, I could get him for you.
Oh, I don't think I've actually met him in person before. Yeah, that'd be amazing, sir. If you could go grab him. He kind of looks around because he doesn't recognize you at all, Peter. So,
so I'm gonna go get Peter.
Yeah. You do realize that is the opposite way to the door, right? Right. Where is he over there?
Mr. Tash would like to meet you, so I think we should just do a little meet and greet.
Yep.
You know your cover, you do software stuff, you're a CEO. He's just so excited to meet you. I suggest being a big fan. He's probably used to that stuff. Probably turn it out. It'd be great. Tune it out. Yes.
Indeed. Alright, so he's over here, so we'll go. There's about close I can get. Without being actually on the table itself.
But yeah, it's close quarters, you know.
Yeah.
I could even do a sort of thing like that. Everyone's getting comfortable here.
Comfortable. I'm security. I'm remaining vigilant as a mook.
You know, and Devin Dash offers his hand to you, Peter. By the way, are you both still wearing gloves at this point?
No, that was for the searching.
Okay, so he is not wearing a glove either, by the way. So it's just sort of a like, this is maybe an important thing. So yeah, he offers his hand.
Evidence collection kit.
Yeah, I'll shake his hand and say, "Hey, Mr. Nash, great to finally meet you."
It's great to meet you. I recall your name coming up is in the investor list, but I've never actually met you before. In fact, I'm not super familiar with your company. Could you give me the rundown? Maybe I want to send some money your way.
Excellent. Yeah, we specialize in just general software, mostly focused around the security side of things, making sure things are well protected. Assets are important, after all.
Oh, I very much have to agree. What we do at my company, of course, is there are a few trade secrets, but there's not a huge pressing need for security. Just the problem tends to be more the parallel computing. We got a number of supercomputers throughout the building, but making sure they're all synced up properly so that the engineers are in good shape. That's always sort of a bit of a chore that my computer people tend to work on. So that seems to be their main focus. He's trying to be relatable.
I know. But I don't relate. I'm an awkward person.
Boring. No one's talking to boring people.
Yeah. So yeah, the supercomputers, they can be a pain. We like I say, we work with like intrusion detection, and most of our guys they like to spend most of the time indoors, if you know what I mean. Looking at screens, they really enjoy that. But yeah, the setup you got here looks quite impressive. With all the systems you can see as you're walking through the building.
Well, the building's actually fairly new. It's it's sort of my first big project. It's only about 4 years old. There's still some quirks to be figured out, but it was sort of a proof of concept for future plans. So I'm quite pleased to hear that you are impressed. By the way, he's going to have a reaction roll to you. And that means that he is getting kind of bored with you, honestly.
Excellent. Bored is the best outcome.
He seems kind of unimpressed by this conversation, in short. So,
I point over to his robotic friend in the corner and say, I've been looking at him. He needs a personality upgrade. It's such the boring interface.
Well, boring is acceptable sometimes. I've had, robots with better AIs before. I get tired of them talking back is the problem. It happens. It doesn't happen too often, but it does happen. That's why I prefer my robots a little on the dumber side, honestly.
Understandable.
So if that's your elevator pitch, I think I got other guests to meet. My presentation's pretty much done. Before I go, what'd you think of it? Do you think this is a sound plan for both a commercial residential complex and terraforming mega project? I don't know if you have any interest in the details there, but I'm just sort of, as an outsider, how do you feel about it?
The project as a whole sounds like a great concept, but I'm not overly knowledgeable on the whole terraforming and residential in the same facility. The mix of industrial and residential seems like a bit of a potential issue for people who live there. Well,
it is enough space that once the planet is in much better shape, could house up to 3 million people. But until that point, only 1 million will actually be in residence. So there'll be plenty of room for the different systems to be fairly separate from each other, so that the residents are not bothered by them.
Well, as long as the industrial side is not too close to the residential, so the people don't get disturbed sleep or see unsightly industrial machinery, they would.
Oh, I see. You're not familiar with some of the basic architectural concerns of megastructures. Believe me, we've already got that all figured out. Don't worry about it.
That's excellent to hear.
In fact, he's going to expound a little bit about some of the architecture principles involved, and he knows his stuff. This guy is totally on board on giving you all sorts of random details, and they go completely over your head because you're not an expert in architecture. And in fact, he'll probably waste your up to 5 minutes of your time if you let him.
Yeah, just it's been great meeting you, but you appear to have some kind of problem here that it looks like you've just sorted out nicely.
Oh yes, they're all much more at ease. There's a bit of a misunderstanding. There's concern about materials and things like that, but I have special assurances as well as backup suppliers if the situation calls for it. In fact, I'd say
excellent.
I'd say that one of the reasons that I'm working on this particular project is to make things easier for the people on Latio to have better living conditions. Because if at some point down the line the service does become habitable, then the people that are living presently in the mining situation will be able to come up and live on the surface like most people do on planets.
Excellent. I had heard some of the rumors, but to know you're on top of them all and you've got plans in place makes it so much more at ease.
Yeah, though, do be warned, it is going to be a number of centuries.
We have the shuttle, sir.
Yes, we must.
Oh, well, you have to run? Oh, sorry for keeping you. I can go on a long time about my passions.
Well,
how about this?
Maybe we can talk later about stuff.
Yeah, I'll have my people get in touch with your people, and we'll maybe set up a meeting sometime about maybe some investment opportunities. In your company, in my company, whatever maybe works. How about that?
Yeah, excellent. We could do some stuff together.
By the way, give me a perception roll.
Both of us, or just him?
Both of you.
Yeah, that's fine.
All right, looks like you pass, Peter?
Yeah, it's a pass.
For a success.
And great successes all around. It's pretty clear that this guy is saying this "my people talk to your people" thing because he doesn't actually intend to.
Yeah, it's one of those. I'm just gonna say this. It sounds nice, and you can now leave, please.
Exactly. So you're kind of boring me, and I don't think I have any interest in your company, sort of situation. It's like,
yeah,
thanks for showing up.
Could have helped for as a covert agent. All right.
Yeah, just move to about here, and just say a little bit. Just very nice to find the meeting. It's exactly what I expected. Just so they pretty much still still happy.
Cool.
Finger guns, book lady. Let's get out of here.
Gonna go to the elevator. So before you exit the building, go ahead and go in the elevator. It's fine.
So wait there before you go in. So
did you have any special exit plans in case things went crazy?
No.
I brought a guy with a gun with me.
Quite reasonable. All right, so you're just gonna go down to the ground floor and exit.
Yep.
Assume everything went to plan.
All right,
never say that.
I'm going to say you make your way out of the building successfully, with your ill-gotten gains in hand, and all of that. Because you guys kind of got lucky on some of my secret, though kind of obvious at the same time, perception rolls. Because that 16 is not going to cut it. So
it happens. So, all right. So,
all right. Now we're going to get to speak to Catherine and handle the intel.
All right. I don't got a map for that one, so we can just go with things as is. So you're going to meet with Catherine Hull at the prearranged location and time, and she'll ask, how'd it go? Did you find anything?
Found this. I'm going to give her the handwritten letter.
Yeah, she has a look. Nods. It's like, yes. This is something. Do you have anything else?
I transfer a copy of the data that we picked up, all the incriminating information that's useful.
Do you mind if I have a look at it?
By all means.
All right, I'm guessing you show her everything then.
Yeah.
All right. She has a look over it.
Keeping the note to myself at the moment. The wiki one that we didn't pick up. The handwritten one.
Oh, I
did
thought...
we bring that with us? Can't remember.
I was carrying that and I gave it to her.
Oh, okay. I thought that was something you were from the filing cabinet you got.
Bertif,
so she's got
I
everything
believe
there.
the word is. So.
Yeah. So just to be clear, you've already handed over the handwritten note and now the data as well.
Yeah, data goes with it nicely.
All right. So she looks it over and she nods and it's like, yes, this altogether very much is sufficient, I think, to get the search warrants we need in order to have a closer look at this company, especially since there's financial involvement here. We will be able to look at his books and do any money tracking we need to see if he's funding these violent groups. Good work, guys. Is there anything else about the mission? Were you spotted? Did you get caught? Was there any trouble at all?
No, we
don't know about it.
I think we bored them sufficiently to not be noticed.
Good. There is one small problem.
Put my hand on my gun.
No. Oh, so like, no, I'm not threatening you. I just wanted to mention that we did find out after the fact that there's a reporter there that had a camera. There's a possibility that your faces may have been picked up by it. So it might be a good idea to lay low for a while. So we actually have a transport waiting for you both. They're going to be sending you off world for a little bit, and if you are, unless you have reason to, not take our offer here, we are basically offering to help you lay low for a while they hopefully let all this blow over and the investigation gets underway. Is that reasonable?
I will listen to that.
What was that one at a time, please?
Yeah, a free holiday sounds like good.
All right, cool. Ben?
We'll take them up on their offer, but for the record, I specified I was trying to stay out of that camera bot's visual.
Yes. Yeah, she doesn't know if you got spotted for certain, but she's sort of like, just in case.
Neither do I.
Yeah, they don't have access to the full recording, and the what shows up in the news is definitely not everything that they had recorded. So,
and looking for us, Nash did inform us that security is not their biggest concern. Which means
feel good.
So yeah, she seems quite happy with your work. And she also pays you 1,000 credits each, or dollars in GURPS terms, but it's credits in the future. So go ahead and note that down in your character sheets.
Excellent.
All right, and you guys managed to get through it without a fight. I had some fight options available, if things went poorly at just the wrong time, and got kind of close a couple times. But I think that's gonna be for today's adventure here today. You guys are getting put on a ship, and you're being shipped out, and we'll find out what happens with that next time, perhaps. Yes. Mm-hmm. So before I end the stream here, any questions, comments, concerns?
Good. I do have this rapier skill that I'm going to respend on something else that's kosher.
That sounds fine. Yeah, this is your pilot episode here, so things can change before we get to the main series.
I get you.
Well, we have a travel time where we can do purchasing and changing.
Yes. So there'll be opportunity to polish up your characters. Just needed enough for you guys to get through today's adventure, and I think you guys went through perfectly. I think I managed to design something that was had enough avenues for you, and it worked out. So hooray! So just sort of a general FYI, there were several other options for tracking down dirt hidden around this floor level here, including some that were more hilarious than others. So just so you know.
There were plenty of good covers for us being in that office. It was really lucky we just didn't get spotted on our way out. So.
Yeah,
making sure the worst thing to get on the way out and get spotted because then you're in a combat situation.
Yeah,
three guards there.
the whole distraction with the group down here was perfect. So.
Really well. So, all right.
All right. Unless there's
For our
anything
next
else.
session, do you know when that is?
Well, I'm going to try for next week, but I need to double check with both Gepwin and Melek to make sure that they're available. If they are, I'm going to try to shoot for a similar start time if possible, unless there's a conflict with you guys.
That time was perfect for me.
All right.
No, that'd be good. That'd be good. I'm on Central Time here, so it's just fine.
Sounds good. Melek's in the UK, and Peter, you're out in that general direction as well.
Yeah, I'm in the UK as well.
And Gepwin's in my time zone, so this is a pretty sweet spot for all of us, I think. Yeah. So, unless there's anything else, I think I'm going to end the stream. So, thank you very much for joining me. Where can we find you guys on the internets?
At Van Velding on Twitter. So you can Google Van Velding.
Excellent.
Yeah, I'm at PeterTaylorTX on the YouTubes, Twitch, and the Twitters.
Glorious. Check these guys out.
Because I'm from Texas. So I assume TX is always for Texas, but there's no Texas in England.
Correct.
Yes.
It's just the old initials for transmission. Back in the Morse code days.
Got.
Well, and you can track me down at DrIzixs, DrIzixs on the YouTubes, and on the Twitch here, of course. Check these guys out. Check out the other players. Check out myself. Rock on, everybody, and until next time, toodles. Woohoo!
Bye.